Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Life Stories Told with Love by She's Mom podcast series. Last time we had a guest who showed us how inspired he was during his career and also his personal life by people around him, and he actually wanted to inspire the others. Today we will be having another guest who is really interesting, and he will have some interesting stories, most probably, to inspire you and get through any blocking points you are facing these days, or help you plan better your professional and personal life. Why not? Thank you, Daniel, for accepting our invitation.
I thank you for having me.
And and maybe you can start, I don't know, telling us a little bit about yourself and from where are you joining us today?
Well, I'm a real born West Berliner, and I'm joining you from my co-working space here in Berlin. I'm 55 years old, and my entire life I lived in Berlin, except for 2 years where I was working and studying in France. And I'm now connecting mostly virtually with all my industry colleagues and international people all over the world. So I try to save the planet by traveling less, but I'm somehow traveling by using technology.
Yes, most of the times we are traveling a lot using the technology and visiting places virtually, to be honest, because sometimes maybe we are wishing to go in a place and maybe it's not the moment, but opening the internet, you can find that place in your eyes. You can see it with your eyes. You can imagine, because the imagination is actually the one who is triggering most of the things, actually all the things. Do you
There's a
think
nice
that
quote from there's a nice quote from China which says, "Reading 1,000 books is like traveling 1,000 miles," and this is somehow also what is behind.
I got goosebumps, to be honest, because while I'm reading, I'm actually imagining another world, and I cannot hear and see anything around me. And this is a magnificent thing the mind of a person is doing while reading. So I strongly suggest to get any book. Any book, doesn't matter. There is no bad or good book. There is a book who is actually feeding your soul and mind. Do you think that during our discussion today, there will be, I don't know, a story or a detail which will surprise our listener? Do you think that, I don't know, you will have a story like inspiring them truly, who inspired you?
Well, I would say the inspiration can always come from other people, and I was just thinking back to my childhood that we all go to school, we learn a lot of things: geography, history, a language, sport, but we don't learn anything about people. And then we leave school, and then we go to work, and we meet a lot of people. Um, Without them, we cannot create any success, and we cannot earn our living. And I'm just questioning why we are not starting way earlier to learn something about people. And this is exactly what I did very intensively, especially during the pandemic, because we were somehow all suffering from maybe a very hard lockdown. In Germany, we had a very smooth lockdown, and we all had to go back to ourselves. Um, some people were very long somehow isolated at home, and suddenly they got to know maybe their partner, and they got to know themselves. And I think we also got to know very intensively how we can use technology to connect. So we had situations where suddenly students had to connect with technology to their teachers. Families had to connect because they were split apart in different countries. And I think this is something which inspired me a lot, that I could really connect with so many people without traveling, and everybody was pretty open to share personal experiences, share also fears, because nobody knew really how long will this be, will I lose my job, how will be the world once the pandemic is over. And of course, I think there are two kind of people out there. There are people who see a problem in every situation, and then there are people who see a solution for every problem. Yeah? And I think this is exactly what is inspiring, that if there is a crisis, you can take this crisis as an opportunity. And this is something where I recently made good experiences with certain people who always felt a certain personal crisis, maybe job crisis, economical crisis. And then by talking with them, supporting them, they could grow, and they were confirming, yeah, if you put a different perspective on something, if you try to get out of your comfort zone, it makes maybe some initial pain, but then in hindsight, once you get over it, you say, no, that was really good that I tried it out. It was maybe painful initially. I was a bit scared, but now I am a better person. And that is for me something which makes me happy if other people feel something like this, because this is for me an energy boost.
Actually, we've been in a crisis in the last 3.5 years with this pandemic changes and wars, and there were a lot of economical and social changes around us which have triggered our fears, to be honest. And this is what I'm trying to tell everyone around me, that fear is only for defending your life. You shouldn't feel fear if it's about a job or an economical situation, as long as you are believing in yourself and you know that you can use all the resources around you. And you said something really important earlier, that basically you are doing things through other people. Universe generally is working through people around you. So do not hesitate to ask for help and advice or anything, because you don't know from where the help is coming. I see that you are thinking, you are taking things really profound. I mean, you are seeking to analyze the details, but being able to see the big picture of a person. And I'm talking about persons because if you know yourself better, you will know people around you. So I see that you have this kind of approach with yourself and with the others around you. This means that there was something maybe, or many things you experienced during your personal and professional life. And actually, my question is, at what point or situation made you be like you are today? What shaped you, actually? And I'm sure that is not only one thing. There is a complex of things and people.
I think what I am today, I was never 20 or 30 years ago. So I remember when I finished my studies in France, I got back to Berlin. I had my first job. I was, of course, completely unexperienced, and I I was not acting like I did today. So I think there I learned something which was very important for me till date, is what I try to please everybody, because I was responsible for 180 cycle messengers in the company, and I wanted that everybody likes me, and to get the respect and the recognition. And I learned something. I was there 7 years, that you can never ever please everybody. And this is, of course, something which is difficult for many people, because they are educated maybe in the sense of, don't make any trouble to other people, try to avoid the conflict, and then you can really progress with your career and so on. And that's something which is not true. So if you try to really do everything only with a perspective to please people, at the end you will lose, because you work against your own inner core and your own convictions. And I think I was very grateful, or I am very grateful, that I had the first boss who understood my nature and who wanted to benefit from my talents. And I could really experiment a lot. And this is something which I believe I had since I was a child. I was always a nuisance for my parents, because I asked so many why questions, and I wanted to understand everything. I questioned everything, and for them, of course, it was challenging. So I'm a high maintenance person, and but by asking many questions, you get hopefully a lot of information and answers. And this is also something which I recommend everybody. Never stop yourself by not asking a questions. Many people have already a big fear to ask a question, and this is something I never have. So I'm always asking questions. And interestingly, many people like to share wisdom, experience, and give advice. And with every answer, I could somehow expand my knowledge. And this is for me always fun, because by asking questions, I learn, I can grow, and then I can share what other people have give me as an answer to somebody else who has maybe the same question, and I can then add my own personal perspective to it. And this is something which made me today. I asked so many questions in my life. I have certainly also annoyed a lot of people with this way of attitude, because there are people out there who don't like to be questioned too much. And this is also something which I learned. There are different people outside who are completely different than me. And if I understand that they're different, I can try to adjust myself in the sense that there are less frictions. Because, say, 30 years ago, I wanted that everybody acts in my way. And this is not working. So if you understand yourself, you understand also other people better. And this is then in the combination much more successful, because then I'm not asking somebody for something she or he will never be possible to succeed in. And this is something which I think is very powerful. And as earlier somebody is learning about her or himself, as earlier the entire communication, the entire relationship approach is much more successful for everybody.
This is actually responding to one of my questions. If you have a story about resilience or perseverance in your life, and basically you just told me that you have to be resilient, you have to insist to get your information, to have your own success, satisfying yourself. It's actually satisfying everybody around you. You know that there is a let's call it a phrase which is saying that if you are happy, everybody around you will be happy. So I think it's better to pleasure yourself than to please the other people around you, because I'm sure that if they are seeing you happy, open to communication and collaboration, most probably they will be happy too. So,
but there's a big exemption from this rule, and this is happy wife, happy life. So if my wife is not happy, so that's why I think there's always exception from the rule in any of these formulas.
Personal life is really important, and as a message to everybody is that it's better to take care of your personal life, because the personal life is actually boosting yourself into the other world, which is called, let's call it professional life. If you don't have a balance between them both, you can say that you are on the good path of failing to yourself, not because you are doing necessarily a mistake. We are humans, and we can do a lot of let's call them stupid things, but seek the balance and generally focus on personal, because personal will always remain with you. Professional, it's always changing. always changing, because this is what you want to do actually, to change. This is the anchor, personal, to make a steady professional life. I want you to also to ask you if there is a piece of wisdom or motto you live by that has been influenced your life experiences. I mean, do you have a, let's call it a principle, a strong principle, which is leading also your personal and professional life? Because let's be honest, sometimes they are really similar, because you are spending a lot of time with work, you are spending a lot of time, maybe less time with your family, and you should have a principle which is wrapping up and reinforcing actually your way of acting, and actually acting in both dimensions.
Yeah, I think if you really want something, then you can always get things done. So this is very important. And the second one is I prefer to get a ticket for speeding and not for wrong parking. And this is something, if you combine both, because there are people who prefer to get a ticket for wrong parking. So not acting, not trying to do anything new, avoiding any mistake, or trying to find the perfect solution. Whereas I'm an 80-20 person, so I want to have a quick solution. Of course, the solution should have at least an 80% rate of being close to perfection. But if you wait too long for certain things because you believe the perfect solution is giving you more benefits, maybe you are missing an opportunity because the window of opportunity is already closed. And of course, if you are passionate on something, you are even not perceiving something as an burden, as an effort, as an work. So that's why I do so many things where I say, this is not work, it's my passion, it's fun. And that's important to also always decide for something where you see yourself being recognized and where you can really grow and flourish. So if you have something where you're not having this sentiment, you are not really succeeding because you do something which you are not liking, and where you always need maybe an external stimulation, external factor in order to progress. But when it comes from your inner sense, it comes automatically, and suddenly things come very, very quickly and very easy.
So basically, and you can correct me, you are telling us basically that we should remain open, flexible, ask as many questions we need to ask, be resilient, and know yourself better to know the others around you, and things will become easier for you and the people around you who are collaborating. You are collaborating with. I would like to thank you, Daniel. It was a really inspiring discussion, because this also helped me discussing with people, having kind of different stories, but actually repeating what we already knew is opening our minds to act in our favor. So, as a message is for today is be resilient, know yourself, and act with passion. Thank you all for watching. Thank you, Daniel, for inviting for accepting our invitation. Please don't hesitate to communicate with us through comments. Share if you think that this message will help other people, and trust yourself, and see you soon. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.